Hey everybody, it's been a while since I've done a video here on YouTube and other platforms. I've been really busy doing a lot of podcasts. You can see me on YouTube, of course. You can see me on a weekly show I do with William Steele, a reality TV star from A&E. I do a lot of other shows and myself, and I've been writing a lot. You guys know about my books on Amazon, close to 80 books, and I have close to 60 articles on Medium, medium.com. It has a million subscribers and over 100 million users. Anybody can write, and I've written a lot from all topics, just like my books, from true crime, current events, politics, my life, a lot going on. So check it out. I'm going to show you here a little bit my Facebook page in case you haven't followed it. You can follow me here on Facebook under Ignacio Esteban. You can see it right here. Show you some of the cool stuff I have on there. See a lot of the pictures. This is a recent one I just did on Sonny Barger from the Hells Angels. See right here. Full Throttle, Sonny Barger and the Hells Angels. So if you like biker stuff, I've talked about him. I've written about the Outlaws, the Mongols, the biker wars, a lot of things I've written about on Amazon, and this article, Interesting Life of Sonny Barger, the founder of the Oakland chapter of California for the Hells Angels in the 50s. And he pretty much became an iconic face for the Hells Angels, for the counterculture movement during that time period. And a lot of controversy, obviously, with him. And I talk about that with his felony convictions, drug use, alleged domestic battery, and a host of other issues at the end. And interesting read on Sonny Barger and the Hells Angels. This one here I have 40 years after the horrific mass shooting at the McDonald's San Ysidro, California. Law enforcement has not learned its lessons. Unfortunately, first responders sometimes do not immediately go inside as they should, even though the active, like in Uvalde, Texas, 38 years later, the same mistakes happened at the McDonald's in San Ysidro, happened in Uvalde, Texas. Same situation, active shooter, killing innocent people inside. This was at a school, and police stood outside for 77 minutes. The same thing happened at McDonald's, 77 minutes. As a retired ATF agent, I took active shooter training. You have to move in. If there's only a couple people, you go in because people are dying. Just like what happened in Uvalde, just what happened at McDonald's, just like happens in Pulse nightclub in Orlando, just like happens at Parkland High School in Florida. You have to move. If you're law enforcement, you have a weapon, you have to go in there and try to address the bad guy in one way, one fashion or another, because people are dying, they're bleeding out. Staying outside, waiting for the SWAT team to show up or someone else to do the job doesn't cut it. So I address a lot of that, and I talk some of the other mass shootings. Interesting read, the phenomenon we have, unfortunately, in this country of mass shootings in the 21st century, only getting worse. We are a country of Second Amendment rights. I believe in Second Amendment rights. I believe having the firearms, but we need to have good policing, good security, that they respond to bad people. It's not the weapon, unfortunately, it's what's between their heads. And a lot of these people have mental health issues, and we have plenty of those, and we have to be prepared to deal with them. I wrote one recently also on Nigeria, a failed state, Boko Haram. That's a Islamic terrorist group, predominantly black, that targets a lot of black Christians in Nigeria and other places. Very dangerous, well-armed, well-equipped, causing lots of havoc in Nigeria. Also about the corruption in Nigeria. And why do we have to keep on importing oil from Nigeria? We did from Russia before, from the Saudis. We used to from Venezuela, from these corrupt nations who don't have the same values that we do. And it's difficult to do that. We have to be independently, energy independent, and not keep on relying on these rogue nations that abuse their citizens. They're dictators, and they don't deserve our money, that's for sure. And we have to have embargoes, Nigeria included. Obviously, the Russians we have with Putin, the Saudis have to be included, all of that, and we can never, ever deal with Venezuela again as long as Nicolas Maduro is doing what he's doing. He stole the election, and he has Venezuela held prisoner, held hostage, just like Castro did in Cuba, and destroyed a country. Once your constitution is suspended, it's bad news. And that's what's going on in Venezuela. Venezuela used to be a really rich nation, an OPEC rich nation, top 10 in the world back in the 70s and 80s. And between Hugo Chavez and, of course, Maduro, has this absolutely devastating destroyed the island. And millions of Venezuelans have fled for better life in the United States and around the world. And things are only getting worse. And he clearly lost the election, clearly lost it. And the Biden-Harris administration has no teeth to do something. He has been an indicted narco-terrorist during the Trump administration. And if Trump wins, hopefully, just like they did with Noriega in the late 80s with President Bush Sr., they go in there, they get him, liberate Venezuela, and let him be next to El Chapo Guzman in the Supermax and El Mayo and others, instead of being in Venezuela living like a king, still in the country and working with terrorist groups, narco-terrorist groups. Maduro must go, and it's time for action. Show I talked about with William Steele, From Inmate to Roommate. Check it out. It's on YouTube. Really good. Here's some of the books. Been very popular. Sports, Politics, and True Crime. It was promoted while I was working with Transmedia Group. I got a lot of press releases. Please check out my books on Amazon. I'll also have the link out there. Drinking the Kool-Aid, The Horrors of Jonestown. Do a lot of shows. California Night Stalkers. You like true crime? I'll talk about psycho killers like Richard Ramirez, the Night Stalker, the original Night Stalker also. So I've got a lot of interesting reads here for those people who like stuff about serial killers. Shout out Thomas Berman. Thomas Berman TV, Ignacio Esteban just recently did a show. It's been released out there. Check it out, also on YouTube. Talking about the battle for Ukraine and how Putin's obsession, the horrors that's going on. He's an indicted war criminal out of The Hague, the ICC, International Criminal Court. Putin also must go. What he's done, the horrors he's done to the world, and his obsession to try to bring, not a USSR, but try to be a Tsar himself, be a new Russian Tsar. He's obsessed with his power, but he's already in his 70s, older. People say he's sick already. Time is running out. And I think at the end, with the Ukrainian push in Russia, he's being embarrassed and humiliated. I think Zelensky holds out, and the Ukrainians keep their freedom, they keep their sovereignty, and they send Putin packing once and for all. Sure, I've done also iDetective. You see the ATF badge there, DEA, NYPD, and others, LAPD, the Sheriff's Office. Check it out. Great show, folks. Also on YouTube, iDetective. I did a panel with them. Excellent show. William Steele. The Rise of a Narco Empire. CJNG, Jalisco New Generation. Evil, bad, with El Mencho Cervantes, the big rival for the Sinaloa cartel, El Chapo, his sons, El Mayo, recently also arrested. He's in federal custody. Will El Mencho, now the most wanted drug lord in U.S. and Mexico, be apprehended? He hides. He's not like El Chapo Guzman. He likes to hide. He's former law enforcement. He knows the game, how it's played. He's no Pablo Escobar. So he'll do things differently, and hiding in Jalisco region and maybe Guadalajara, it's tough to find him. A lot of underground tunnels. He's no stupid. So the bounty right now for him, close to over $10 million. Couldn't be higher now. Canadian gangsters, quite a few. Canada also has a big epidemic with weapons. Even though under Trudeau, a lot of the firearms, you can't have anything, but the bad guys have everything. Just like in Mexico, gun control does not work. It does not work. Just like in the blue states, they have all this gun control. The gang members, the criminals, they have all the weapons they want and everything they want to get. So it doesn't work, and an average citizen cannot defend themselves from these savages. When they can't have anything, they make you register it, you can't take it with you. The bad guys know that, and they take advantage of it, and they abuse people. So that's my Facebook page. I got a lot of stuff in there. You're gonna keep on checking it out. Please follow me. You can see a lot of stuff. There's one here I did recently, MS-13, the savagery and brutality of MS-13. I did a show recorded almost a year ago on the History Channel about Gangland Chronicles. Did MS-13, the Bloods, the Crips. Hopefully that'll be coming out shortly. Interesting to watch. And also this one here, about 3 weeks in November, the Beltway Killers. A lot of this stuff here, again, I have on my Amazon page. You can follow me there. Amazon author page, my books, like I said, close to 80. And on Medium, which I'm going to show you right now. Let me go with the pictures first. I want to show you a couple pictures. Shout out to Emily Menshouse. Done a few times her show. Excellent show. And also Will Martinez at Dark Fringe Radio. Check him out. Hollywood Wade, ATF Undercover. My book. I wrote it based on my life. Working undercover. Done some big cases with repeat violent offenders, gang members, armed drug dealers, home invaders, international traffickers, domestic traffickers, murder for hire cases, all kinds of work. The good, the bad, and the ugly of ATF. Also my personal life, a little bit of everything. I self-published it, like all my books. They're short reads. This is a little bit longer. I've done some longer reads also, and I also have it on Audible. You can listen to it. A professional voice actor, Sean Milo, did it. Excellent job. Please listen to that one. And The Most Dangerous Crime Syndicates of Our Time. Also available on Audible. Different shows I did with Wade. Notorious, One Percenters. Check out the books on the Hells Angels, like I said, Outlaws, Mongols, Biker Wars, and other groups. Undercover Inc. Undercover Inc. I have there on Broken Crowns. You can find it on, if you go to www.undercoverinc.printify. You can find some of the merch I have. Screenplay that I've written. Try to make it based on my life. Make it into a TV series or a movie, whatever possible. So if you're interested, please reach out to me on Facebook. Screenplay has been written. Broken Crowns, Undercover Inc. Working cases out of narco groups out of Florida. Interesting stuff there. A lot of gun running also. Again, when I had the book available, it was #1 Amazon bestseller, ATF Undercover. ATF Undercover. Here on Medium, like I said, you go to medium.com. If you are a writer and you like to write, this is another great platform where if you don't want to do books, but you want to do articles, this is a great place to write, and you can write for free. If you want to get paid, you can become a member. I did so, and I think it's less than, I think it's like $30 a year, which is not bad. And then you can also get paid for your writings. So I also get to read as much as I like, and there's so many articles, all different topics, millions of articles to read. Really good value. I'm a big fan of Medium. I've been successful on it. You can see some of the stuff. I have close to 60 articles, and I've done it in about a month, maybe a little less than a month. So check them out. Follow me, please, on Ignacio J. Esteban. I'm on Medium here. I've got some followers in here. I want to build it up. You see here what I talked about earlier, about Sonny Barger. Let's go through a few of these. The mass shooting at the McDonald's. Lessons have not been learned. The same mistakes are being made. You cannot wait while the shooter is inside. Once he's engaged, people are dying. It's not a hostage situation. People are bleeding out. You need to get them out. Waiting for the SWAT team is not the solution. Nigeria, Kool-Aid, Night Stalkers. The original Night Stalker himself, Joseph James D'Angelo. He was former law enforcement from the area and became known later as the Golden State Killer. And then the other Night Stalker, Ramirez, and I talk about him also. Richard Ramirez. Putin, CJ&G, Canadian Gangsters, MS-13. On October, Yakuza. Very cool article there also in Yakuza. If you don't know much about Yakuza, Japanese organized crime, been around for hundreds of years. They have unique rituals. They're worldwide, internationally, and involved in a lot of international criminal activities. From gambling, extortion, drug trafficking, firearms running, you name it, they're involved in it. History of Chicago crime bosses. If you don't know much about them, I started with before with the Chicago Outfit, Al Capone, Nitty, and others. I think it's a very good read. Short read, but these are good articles to get a hold on things. Again, I'm a Miami guy, so I wanted to do one on Miami's history with the mafia. And I put some interesting stories tying South Florida to some very important people, including Capone and that nice home he had in Palm Island. A lot of people didn't know Al Capone lived and died in Miami back in the, he was in the 20s and died in the 40s after he did time in Alcatraz, and he has syphilis, and he suffered greatly, and his mental capacities were diminished immensely. LA mobsters, infamous LA murders. I talk about some famous murders in Los Angeles. Of course, a lot of people know about O.J. Simpson, but maybe some of the older ones you may not have heard. The Black Dahlia with Elizabeth Short, her horrible murder that's never been solved. One of the longest unsolved homicides in Los Angeles. Interesting read there also, and same with Bugsy Siegel, who was also killed in L.A. That was more of a mob hit, most likely called in by Dragna, who was a little tired. Jack Dragna, who was a little tired of having Siegel and others in his area, including Mickey Cohen. LA gang wars. I also worked in Los Angeles briefly, about 8 months, on a detail. Saw them firsthand. They're brutal, they're ugly. Like I said, I did a special with History Channel, hopefully be coming out shortly on MS-13 and others. Brutal groups out there. The gangs are out of control, from the Bloods, the Crips, the Mexican groups, Asian groups, other biker groups. It's just out of control, and it's only going to get worse unless something changes drastically within the culture. If not, that's going to be a permanent way of life if it's not already in that region. Who killed Jimmy Hoffa? Are we ever going to find out who really killed Jimmy Hoffa?